Okay, hello everybody. This video is kind of interesting to my own personal fascinations with space, and just decided I'd narrate it since YouTube always complains that I'm using somebody else's work. This first shot is taken from the past week in my front yard, and people will say, oh, well, this is just a formation, a perfectly shaped circle in your yard from weed formation. Well, maybe so, but I have to think if these things are happening to me, then there has to be another reason other than just some coincidence. And in the next shot, you'll see what I mean, because about 1998, I was in Atlanta, and I saw an object or some kind of a figure in the window of our old house. And I strongly believe that it's either a ghost or possible a projection of an entity that was in the house that I saw there in 1973. And then in 2008, 10 years after that, I saw an object formation on the grass at our other home down in Greenville. And this is the actual picture. What I've done is I've circled it with a whitish outline of where this obvious grass section was dirt. In other words, it appeared like that in our yard. And, of course, my fascination with space begins as far back as 1969. I was about 3 years old then, and my father had told me that we were going to go to the moon. And, of course, when you're that young, you think, well, nothing's impossible. So he kind of forced me sometimes to watch some of the footage that was airing on CBS and ABC. And the only thing I can remember was them going between the command module and the LIM during the insertion phase when they were getting ready to land on the moon. And I found these snapshots. That other shot was of the LIM. I think these are taken at the Birmingham Space Museum, or possibly the I know it's in Alabama because they have one there. And this object here from far away, you can't tell, but this is the Saturn V test platform they used to test the rocket engines. And I don't know if it's still there in Birmingham, but I did see these shots. I thought, well, this is interesting that they kept these things in the museum even after the end of the Apollo program. But I think it was still going on at the time they took these photographs, because the last moon mission was around 1974, 1975. You can't see it very well from here, but it says the Saturn V test stand. And of course, in my caption, you can see I'm just saying again that this probably was done in the Birmingham Space Museum as far as where they took these things. Now, it could be in Cape Canaveral. I don't know, but I'm just basing it on what I believe it was. And these are just some interesting conceptual shots of how they expected to land on the moon with the LIM. And you can tell from this shot that the actual LIM was not in the sketches. It didn't look like what they actually ended up designing. It's conceptual art only. And of course, as I say in the caption, you can read, it says our space program is a joke, and it's true. I mean, ever since Obama took office, all he cared about is to save money. And why? It isn't for the benefit of the country to do this. It's because he has so many stupid ideas about Obamacare and all the other programs he's instigated since, that he has to dwindle away everything that our government has had in order to fund it. But I'll tell you a little secret. Behind this whole facade is one fact. He's got to take all of this money and feed it to third world countries so that the overall global government system can be initiated. Because when all the countries of the world are financially the same, then the communists, which we are, can say to the world, everyone's equal. Nobody is better than someone else. Nobody is less or worse off than someone else. And that's why our country is at the verge of complete economic collapse. Plus, he lets the Mexicans come in here free of charge now, and that means that nobody has rights to say this is wrong, we shouldn't be allowing this to go on. And he just constantly is just doing it more and more and more. And I just say to all of you listening to this video today that you have accepted Obama since 2008 to be a messiah. And if he is a messiah, folks, with what he's done to this country, then y'all don't really care what he does, because he's been now in office for 2 terms. And my own impression is that I don't think he's leaving in 2016 or 2017, because if you're a communist, you can pretty much make yourself a dictator, and he has already done that. He has not come out and said it, but he has all these provisions under our Homeland Security Act, which gives him the right to initiate martial law whenever he wants. And when that happens, that means your right to vote him out of office is gone. Your rights to stand up to him and say what you're doing is wrong and we're going to get rid of you is over. Our Congress is a joke and has been. It doesn't matter how many new people we put in there, if you notice, they still abide by what Obama says. They haven't done anything to stand up to Obama since he took office. And how many times have we elected new people in there? At least twice that I can think of. And he still gets away with it. He still does everything he wants to. The U.S. Supreme Court is another of his puppets. They didn't do anything to stop him when they said it was totally legit for him to create Obamacare. And Richards, who is one of the Supreme Justices, he has been bowing to Obama just like everybody else in Congress has since 2008. And I'm not trying to get off the subject of space, but I'm just saying that we can't go out into space if we don't have somebody who's trying to get us back in there. And getting rid of the shuttle program might have been like it's inevitable. But if you guys remember back in 1980 when they started the shuttle program, they made the assumption to everybody that these things would be completely reserviceable and we could create more in the fleet over time and it would never become obsolete. And now what they say it is. I mean, we've lost a couple of spacecraft already, but it was not a justified reason to get rid of it, just because other than the fact that Obama is destroying everything that created or actually acts, that used money. Okay, that's why he got rid of it. It isn't because it was obsolete. It was because he didn't want the government using money for financial advancement of our space program or for space exploration or nothing. The only thing of NASA that still exists, by the way, is simply the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. That's it. NASA as an organization does not exist anymore. If it does, it's only in a very small scale compared to what they were created for, which was for exploration of our space and other planets. And forget the idea that we're ever going to go to Mars, because financially, Obama has destroyed our economy and he has destroyed our entire financial system. So where is that money going to come from? It ain't going to come from the United States, because its people are taxed beyond comprehension, and there's nothing as a result of it that is there to finance anything. And all I can say is that we can only look back and remember what it was like for the space program to be at its peak, because at that time it's like anything was possible. Anything was likely as far as what we were going to do, and now of course it's over. It's a sad reality to face, that America has permitted Obama the freedom he has had without standing up to him, and now all we can do is to nostalgically look back, which is what I did the video for, and say it was great while it lasted, but when you place a black president in charge who doesn't grasp what his responsibilities are, then you're going to get what you got and what we have now, which is financial chaos, economic collapse, and then when you look at ISIS and all these other terrorist groups, what do they do as an answer for why this is happening? Well, they don't have jobs. Guess what, folks? That's not our problem. If they live over there in the Middle East and they do this stuff, whose problem is it that these people are allowed to progressively get worse and send their hatred to other countries? The United States is only concerned and should be only concerned with its borders, not going over somewhere else and saying, we don't like your attitude, we're going to get rid of you. But I do say we should protect the homeland, but not to the point where we financially support them and give them weapons and all the rest of it to say, well, we're going to try and convince you guys to do something else except killing people. And then Obama laughingly said, oh, the Christians were hateful too. They did things during the Crusades and such as that. And all I can tell you guys is that Catholicism is not Christianity. It has never been associated with it. And the Catholics should be absolutely the ones ashamed for what Obama said, because it was Catholicism that initiated those kinds of butchery on innocent people. And in this segment, you can see I said hopefully we'll get rid of Obama. And I don't really think it'll happen. We have a communist now in charge. He's not going to let anybody go. And once he has his hands on the United States and he's got it, he's not about to let anybody dictate to him, because he's going to dictate to you. And the Muslim and the Islamic community, I think personally, they should be ousted out of this country, because if you're gonna take care of anybody, you should take care of your own backyard first, and then go out and try to help other countries who are having the same problem. And if you let them fester here in the United States, they're not going to do anything except destroy us. And that's what they've been trying to do ever since. So, all I can do in my visuals today is to say how wonderful it was before Obama. And now, everything is gone. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you got some interests out of it. Bye-bye, America.